Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We have made it to Friday. It's time for Ultra Madden over here on Picks and Parlays on YouTube. We've got a great slate today. I've got some amazing guests stepping in, handicappers from picksandparlays.net. Dan Kaiser will be my first guest. He's going to talk some MLB, the game that you want to know who's going to take number 5 here between the Detroit Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. We then will jump into the Old Miss game tomorrow and then start looking at some Sunday football. We know Sunday night is going to be a bang with the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead taking on the Detroit Lions. So Dan's going to cover all of that. And then, as per normal on Friday, we will have Anton from Advanced Sports AI jumping on in here to tell us where the AI model is looking for this Sunday. So lots to go over today. The fade or follow like Madden. I do have bets for you guys between the Detroit Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. I'm also going to look at all 3 college football games on a deck today, and it's a loaded day in college football for these games because I think they all are great ones out there. We have South Florida taking on North Texas to start us off at 7:30 Eastern. Then Fresno State versus Colorado State and Rutgers versus Washington. Biggest dog of the day is Rutgers coming off a bye. And if you know those stats of Rutgers off a bye, might be a road dog that you might want to look at, even if you're just going to look at the first half. So we're going to go over all of that today. We do have our X versus the books poll up and going over on X. So make sure you head on over, get your votes in on that. So when we start looking at this X versus the books today, we are looking at Sunday Night Football, the Detroit Tigers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We are seeing the love coming in for the Tigers, not just plus the points, but also that money line vote there at plus 2.5 or plus 120 on the money line at 54%. Now, 22% like in the Kansas City Chiefs. They are under a touchdown favorite at home in Arrowhead, and we know the strength of this team there. And then the over-under sitting at 52.5 with the love coming in for that over. We know between these two quarterbacks, between these offenses, it's an easy one to look at that over, but we might be looking at an under in this one if the defenses really step up. And then X versus the books out there on the diamonds, you guys. We will look at this game with Dan Kaiser in just a second. Where you guys are going here, though, we're looking at the majority of love coming in for the Seattle Mariners at home at 35.3%. The over at 41.2%. Yeah, 5.5 seems like a light number, you guys. I don't know. I'm kind of leery of taking this one over the 5.5. The under, no one has voted the best bet for the under. Are the books on the money here with that total looking for the under? Because I tell you guys, I tried to look at this game. I do have best bets, fade or follow like Madden at the end of the show. But when we started breaking down this one, the Nerfy, the under in the first 5, there was no way for me to find a way to make money on either of those. The juice just way high. It was maybe minus 180 or minus 180 for the under 3.5 in the first 5 or minus 180 on that Nerfy. Either way, I couldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So we're going to bring in Dan Kaiser here. And Cody, you did. You said the Giants were going to get it done. You had more faith than I did in Jackson Dart. And I tip my hat to you. Jackson Dart came out. He looked great. Did you see he high-fived the ref? I wish I had that video to show you guys if you did miss out on Jackson Dart high-fiving the refs. I really love what we're seeing out of Cam Scadaboo. You're seeing posts today that he's a psycho, ripping off his shirt at that press conference after. He definitely is bringing that energy back to the New York Giants that this team needs. I really do like that combo with Jackson Dart and Scadaboo. We did see Johnson making an impact out there as well. And I tell you, the Eagles to lose 2 games in a row, not something we're used to. And this team just looked dead in the water going into that half. I have to ask you, and I want to know in the live chat here, I want to hear your questions or your comments about this one. Russ, you look at Russell Wilson, and when he hit the field, when Jackson Dart went into concussion protocol into the blue tent, the fans booing him, that just set Russell Wilson up for a bad start, no matter what. I just hated that. I hated seeing that. And you guys know I've never been a believer in Russell Wilson, but for them to treat him that way when he hits the field, I tell you, I thought that was just a poor sportsmanship of the fans. And then he threw that terrible pass. Who was it to? It was like, what, 4 feet short of his receiver straight into the ground. So I don't know. I feel for Russ right now with all the hate that he is getting. So let me know in the comments here what you think of the hate that Russell Wilson's getting from the New York fan base. I know we all love what Jackson Dart is bringing to that fan base. He looks so much better. Remember, he was getting booed last week, right? So it's a hard fan base there for sure. So let's jump into talking some MLB today, you guys. If you got questions about anything, do drop them in the live chat. If you're watching over on X, make sure you come over here because I want to interact with you guys. Come on over to YouTube. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, do me a solid. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification button over here. The amount of people subscribed that or not subscribed that watch this show, you guys, if you hit that, it just helps this video and it helps push out the channel a little bit more. So I would appreciate you taking the 2 seconds to be able to do so. But let's, without talking anymore, because you guys know I could talk all day here to you guys. Let's bring Dan Kaiser in. I want to hear what Dan's liking today on the slate. Dan, welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, absolutely. I love having you here. We're going to talk some MLB. We're going to look at some Saturday football. We got Ole Miss in action. Let's jump into the slate today in MLB. We got the Detroit Tigers, your Detroit Tigers, taking on the Seattle Mariners. Now, when we're looking at odds on this one, Detroit was or still is the favorite in this. Tariq Skubal getting the start. We're seeing the Seattle Mariners coming in as the dog. Now, this line has moved a little bit on some of the books. We're seeing them between plus 105 to plus 114. George Kirby getting the start here for the Seattle Mariners and Tariq Skubal for the Detroit Tigers. This is game 5, Dan. This is winner takes all. Where are we going to go? What are you liking in this one? Because this is a big game here tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, we talked about this series last week when I was on, and I said I thought this would go 5. I leaned Seattle for a couple of reasons. And basically, everything I threw out last week seemed to be proven wrong. I said the Tigers would have to win with Skubal in game 2. Mm-hmm. They didn't. I said Seattle's bullpen would probably be the difference. It hasn't been. The Tigers' bats finally came alive yesterday and put up 9 runs. We haven't seen the Tigers hit like that in probably a month and a half. So and I'm looking at this game. I mean, Skubal, this guy's been unhittable so far in the playoffs. He's 1.84 ERA. He struck out 23 batters in 14 innings. He's just given up 8 hits and 4 walks. Detroit's bullpen, I don't know if it's a good thing, but they're rested, so there could be if it goes late, they could be a little bit of advantage. Kirby, he's been good also in his only postseason start. I think this is going to come down to a couple of things. One, I think it's going to come down to Skubal. Can he pitch well? And to be honest, I think for the Tigers, I know it can't happen, but it'd be nice if he could go like 11 or 12 innings, because I think they're going to need as much as they can get out of him. And which team hits? Neither team has been hitting in this series. It's been, hit or miss for both teams. Tigers put up 9 last night, but I can't see them getting 9 today. If I'm betting this game, I'd bet the over. I know it's low and Skubal on the mound, but I just think this is going to be an extra inning game. And when you get into extra innings with these bullpens, who knows? The Tigers' bullpen has been terrible. Seattle's bullpen, which I thought was going to be great. Their 2 best relievers are kind of struggling or a little bit shaky. And as far as the side, I got to root for the Tigers in this one. I probably wouldn't bet it, but
I'm rooting for your Tigers. I think your Tigers can get it done, Dan, and I love that you're going with the extra innings. I rolled with the extra innings here on the show yesterday for the Dodgers and the Phillies. We got to extras in that one. The books had it at plus 680. I thought it was plus 650, I believe. It was such a short price. I couldn't believe it, but that's exactly how that game went. It went to those extras. I looked at the extra innings in this game today. They're only giving us plus 580, Dan, to go to extras. This one's going those extra innings. So I love that look at the over 5.5.
Yeah, if either one of these teams had showed that they could hit against bad pitching this series, I'd be able to pick a team, but neither team can hit. So I think it's going to come down. It may come down to like the Phillies Dodgers game. It may come down to an error to win this game. So
yeah.
I'm just going to sit back and enjoy a beer and root for the Tigers, and hopefully they don't get blown out early so I don't have to go to bed.
Absolutely. I don't think you're going to go to bed early. I think this is going to be a great one. And I think the Detroit Tigers have every ability of fighting their way back if the Seattle Mariners get up first. As long as they keep Screwball in this game deep. We're looking at Screwball with a strikeout prop of 9.5. It's plus 116 to the over. George Kirby coming in here, you guys, at 5.5 at minus 136. There are a couple of props that I think are really interesting to look at for both of these pitchers, but looking at those outs, you talked about it. You want to see Tyreek Screwball stay in this game a long time. Well, the books are expecting it to happen, Dan. It's 19.5 for his outs. It's minus 122 to the over. So it's a high number, and you got to lay juice. George Kirby, interesting. 14.5, minus 148 to the over. They're not even giving us an alt number on most of these books for those outs. I would alt him. Kirby's solid at home. I expect both of these pitchers to stay in deep.
Yeah, but he didn't his first outing.
Yeah.
He didn't go deep in his first outing. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's game 5 of the playoffs. It always seems to be low scoring. It always seems to be a grind. I just hope it changes this time and we get a big, nice, easy Tigers win. So
absolutely. Well, Rick
that's
at
more,
Picks.
That's more heart. That's more heart than head. So
yeah, well, you got to sometimes roll with your heart. Rick at Picks, enjoy the game tonight. He's going to be there cheering on his Seattle Mariners. So we're going to go with Detroit for you. We're going to look at this one to sneak over that total of 5.5. Let's start talking this Ole Miss game. We got a game on Saturday between Ole Miss here, and they are playing Washington State. That's right. Washington State, a huge underdog on the road. Do they have any shot of keeping it tight down?
Personally, I don't think so, but I'm looking more at the total in this one. And just to let you know, when you're a Spartan fan, especially during football season, you always need somebody else to fall back on at some point in the season. And with Saban gone from Alabama, and I have a love-hate relationship with Saban, I've started to become a Lane Kiffin fan. I mean, he's the epitome of a Nepo hire. If it wasn't for his dad, Monty, he might not have had the early success or / failure, however you want to look at it, at a young age. He was hired as the youngest NFL coach and Power 4 coach at the time. He's had a rocky early career. He was a USC assistant coach for a few years, hired by the Raiders, lasted a year there, left in acrimony with him and Al Davis. Went to Tennessee, spent a year at Tennessee, left for USC, spent 3.5 years there. He did lead them to a 12-2 record one year, left on the tarmac at the airport, spent 3 or 4 years at the Saban Rehabilitation Program for wayward coaches, 3 years at FAU, and now he's 6 at Ole Miss, where he's been a really, really good coach there at Ole Miss. They've had some really good records. Man, this man's had issues, and that's why I like him, because I can relate to a man with issues. I spent 16 years in Southeast Asia, and people say you don't move halfway around the world if you're normal. So I can relate to a man like Kiffin. But in this game against Washington State comes in at 3-2. Ole Miss is number 4 in the country, undefeated. And that's despite losing the starting quarterback early in the season. And that's kind of my thing here. Their backup quarterback, and I didn't know this at the time until he actually played Trinidad Chambliss. He's a transfer from D2 Ferris State, which just happens to be where my son is going to school. And there were three. They've won the D2 national championship 3 out of the last 4 years. They said a thing, I think in that game he started, they added up all the fans that saw him play throughout the whole season in Division II, and it was probably 65,000 fans, and that's what he was playing against in his first game for Ole Miss. I think he threw 300 yards, rushed for 100. The guy's done it all for Ole Miss. Has over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, only 1 interception, but he runs the ball. He picks up between 60 and 100 yards a game on the ground. Kevon Lacey's rushed for over 445 rushing yards, scored 8 touchdowns. Washington State, they're bad. They're just bad. And when they lose, they give up a lot of points. They've allowed 56 points in both games now that they've faced. And that, I think one was against Kansas, and I can't remember the other team, but they weren't good teams. And this explosive Ole Miss offense, I can see them just scoring series after series. I can't see Washington State slowing them down. I like the over in this one. I think Washington State will score just enough to get this game over the number. I know it's a high number, but with this offense will put up 40, 50 points on its own. So I'm going to take the over in this game.
I think it's a great way to look at the over. I'm expecting Ole Miss just to run up that score and not take their foot off the pedal. Undefeated so far on the season, 4-0 at home as well. I'm 4-1 against that spread. And Dan, I got to say, normal is boring. Who wants to be normal out there? Normal people, take them or leave them. I love that you traveled over in Southeast Asia. Do you mind telling us where?
I lived in Thailand for 16 years. But I've spent time in Laos, Cambodia.
Love it.
A little time in Malaysia, Vietnam.
Okay. I love to hear that. The Asian culture is definitely one that it's so nice to be immersed in, especially Thailand. Beautiful country over there. I had a hot minute in Vietnam. Not gonna lie, it was the scariest time. I had a bad taxi driver, though. I thought my life was over rolling in there, but it was just my paranoia. So we're gonna start talking some Sunday football. We got a great matchup here on Sunday. We're seeing Rick and Pick saying that Dan Wilson, he won't leave his starters in past the 6. Tonight, if Kirby's rolling, you could see the starters will go around the 8th. Yeah, and I could see that as well. He's going to take the first 5 under, and I do like the first 5 under. My problem is the juice is just too much for me. It was just high, under 3.5 in the first 5. I'm interested maybe in ulting it, but I haven't seen any ult lines out as of yet. So, Dan, are we good here? Let's move on to the matchup between It's just breaking up a little bit. We seem to be good now. Let's look at the matchup between the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Sunday night football here. We've got the Detroit Tigers, an underdog versus the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. What are you thinking for this one?
Yeah, I might be a little bit of a homer here, but I'm definitely going with the Lions in this one. I mean, this is kind of 2 years ago. I think this is where it all started for the Lions. They opened the season in Kansas City against the defending champs on the opening Thursday night football game. Surprised they came away with a win. A little bit shocked, I think, even Lions fans at that point. And everything's been rolling since then. The problem is Kansas City. Right now they're kind of a scary team. They're wounded. They're 2-3 after losing to Jacksonville, a game that kind of exposed their defense. Their defense gave up a 90-yard game-winning drive and looked tired at the end of the game, which you usually don't see. KC's at home under the lights, as you mentioned earlier. That's a tough place to play. But the Lions fans have shown they travel well, and I'm sure there's going to be a large contingent on hand for this game in Kansas City. And I think the big problem right here, as good as Kansas City's offense has been playing, it's their defense. It's not the defense that won them a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They have problems, and the problems they have are problems you don't want to have when you face this Lions offense. Their secondary's been giving up big games or big plays, and they're unable to get consistent pressure on the quarterback. And we've seen what can happen when Goff doesn't have pressure. He can sit back there and then just pick you apart. After all the doom and gloom in Lions camp after week 1, they've won 4 straight. They look like the offensive juggernaut they were under Ben Johnson. They're coming off a 37-24 win over Cincinnati. Yeah. And I think on the show I did have Detroit last week. Goff, I don't think he gets enough credit or enough mention as a top quarterback. He's 12 touchdowns, has 2 interceptions. Colin Cowherd on his show yesterday was pointing out some stats where Goff's first 8 years over that time. He's like the top of the league in many statistics, or number 2 in other ones. But he never gets mentioned. It's always Allen, Jackson, Mahomes, Stafford. He never gets mentioned up there, but I think he's just as good as any of them at this point in his career. The Lions offense is now starting to protect the quarterback. They're starting to run block. They started the season with 3 new interior linemen, 2 of them rookies, and they're starting to gel. They're starting to come along, and this defense is coming alive. The pass rush is coming alive. I think McNeil may be back this week. If not, he'll be back next week. That'll give more depth on the offensive front. The defensive secondary has been playing well. They're a little banged up, but Kansas City's receivers right now at this point of the season just aren't that scary. When the Rice returns, I think that'll be a step up for them. I just think Detroit right now, the way they're playing, the confidence, they're showing no fear. And I don't think playing in Kansas City with Dan Campbell as the coach and just how they're built and just the mentality, I don't think it's going to phase them. I think they're going to go in Kansas City and not only cover, but I think they'll win this game outright.
I absolutely love it. And yeah, I did say the Detroit Tigers. My stream is lagging a little bit, not sure why. And then I got kind of frazzled there, hoping we wouldn't freeze. So if we do freeze, Dan, I'll let you take it away and then I will come back in on it. But what are you looking at for the Lions? We got a question here on their team total. You think they can go over that total?
I don't know what it is, to be honest.
Let me pull it up here for you. I'm expecting them to be able to put up the points for sure in this matchup. I don't trust the Kansas City Chiefs on the defensive side of the ball right now. And I know this is a solid defense. I know they have top playmakers like Chris Jones who can come in and make those big plays. But let's just pull up that team total. If you guys have it there in the chat, let me know. It's going to take me just a second to find it. I can't believe how many different bets we can put in. It's 25.5 minus 120 to the over.
Yeah, I guess when I was looking at this game, I think it's gonna be close. So like a 27-24 score wouldn't surprise me. I think the Lions can get 27, or if not more, the way this Kansas City's secondaries look. I can see even Jameson Williams making some big plays this week. So yeah, I'd take the over on that one.
Okay, nice way to go. What else have you got for us? We've talked MLB, we've talked college football, we talked NFL. Any other leans that you've got before you let us know where everyone can find your best bets down?
I guess the only other game I'm kind of interested in, I'm just interested in from a different standpoint, is the Bears-Washington game. Because if you remember last year, that was the Tyreek Stevens game where he was taunting the Washington fans in the end zone and then got back in the Hail Mary late and Washington scored, and that was the downfall for the Bears. They went on to lose 10 straight after that game that they basically had in the bag. And basically that was the impetus for the Bears to go after Ben Johnson. So there's lots of things intriguing in that game, and especially from a Lions standpoint. So I'm just interested to see what happens in that one, and the matchup again between Caleb Williams and Jane Daniels. So that's kind of game I got on the radar just to watch and for enjoyment purposes.
Absolutely. I'm going to let you answer this question as well. Screwball, will he pull a Priesta?
No.
Priester. There's my Australian accent, putting an A at the end of it. ER.
No.
Apologies, you guys.
Nobody considers Priester the best pitcher in baseball. So no.
Okay. Good answer there. Let's have you on next Friday if you have the time, Dan, next Friday. But what have you got for sale over on picksandparlays.net? That Weekend Warrior is running, you guys. Check out that Weekend Warrior for Dan's football picks. You can get his Saturday and Sunday plays for only $49. As an added bonus, he'll also include his Monday picks at no extra cost. So head on over to picksandparlays.net to grab that. But Dan, what else can people expect when they go over to picksandparlays.net to grab your picks of the day?
Right now, I've got a big play up on one college football game. I put that up earlier in the week. It's a money line play in the SEC. I'm putting the card together. I'll have it posted later today for both college and NFL. But just for this promotion, just to get an idea, I'm looking 3 to 5 plays for college, 3 to 5 plays in the NFL, and at least 2 plays for Monday night. So for $49, you'll get between 8 to probably 12 to 14 plays. So it is worth the money. And hockey season started, so I'm a little slow at the beginning of hockey season, building up because I want to see a little bit kind of the lay of the land. But hockey season started, and of course, baseball's. We got the Brewers Cubs tomorrow, so I'll have that up soon, and then we'll see where things shake out after today and tomorrow.
Definitely going to see where things shake out. It is an exciting playoff picture with the Dodgers advancing yesterday and the Toronto Blue Jays advancing the day before. So we'll see who comes out of the Cubs and the Brewers and the Detroit and Mariners matchups. I'm hoping Detroit comes out to face the Toronto Blue Jays. And then in the other one, Cubs and Brewers, where does your heart go, Dan? Who would you like to see come through?
Brewers.
Okay. Let's go Brewers.
I'm a White Sox guy, so.
Okay. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us here on Aljo Madden on Picks and Parlays.net. I look forward to having you again next week.
I'm looking forward to it also. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan. You guys make sure you head on over to picksandparlays.net to grab Dan's packages. You don't want to miss out on everything he's got going over there. He is part of that Weekend Warrior package. So sorry about a little bit of glitches there. Not sure why that was happening. It is the Kansas City Chiefs at home in Arrowhead versus the Detroit Lions. If the Detroit Tigers rolled into Arrowhead, I would be laying double digits with the Kansas City Chiefs because we know they're going to beat a baseball team. That is for sure. But you guys, we're going to talk NFL Sunday with Anton from Advanced Sports AI in just 1 second. That poll is up. Your Sunday night football poll is up in the NFL over on X. So head on over and get your best bets in on that. The Detroit Tigers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. 54% of people loving the Tigers. See, I'm going to do it all day long now. The Lions plus the 2.5 at plus 120 as well on that money line. The Kansas City Chiefs minus 2.5. And the love is coming in for that over. And when we look at the other one, this is the Detroit Tigers versus the Seattle Mariners. We're seeing the love coming in for the dog here, the Seattle Mariners at plus 108. So you guys head on over to X to get your bets in on that. I want to hear where you're going, but we're going to bring Anton into the show. We're going to hear what he is liking on the Sunday football slate, as well as how last week went. Anton, happy Friday.
Hey,
Welcome
Joe.
to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here again. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Your camera is looking so
Always
beautifully
something
clear
interesting
today, I
going
have
on,
to say.
including last night.
How are things going your way? Okay, guys, we might have lost Anton. I will try to bring him back in here in just 1 second and see if I'm able to hear him and see him. We got a lot to go over on the slate today. College football, MLB. We've gone over it with Dan Kaiser, seeing what he is liking out there. We're going to bring Anton in just a minute as soon as that connection reestablishes there to see what he is liking as well. Any thoughts on the Argos and the Riders? Oh, that's going to be a good one, Cody. I do think between those two, we're going to see a higher scoring game out there. I would look for that one to go over. And then NHL, loving it. I'm glad, Ant, you're loving the NHL slate. And it is confusing why that NHL slate is not up for today. We had a loaded Thursday. We have a loaded Saturday, but no teams are playing today in the NHL. Just see if Anton is connected again here. Let me just see. No, Anton is not connected, you guys. It's going to take us just a couple minutes. We'll try to get Anton back connected. His camera was looking so brilliantly sharp, but let's jump into some things that I'm liking out there for this slate in college football as well as in MLB. Now, I apologize. The graphics were not available for me this morning. I ran out of time. I'm not going to lie. I ran out of time making these graphics. So I don't have the visual for you guys, but let's jump into it. Let's start talking it. It looks like Anton is back. We'll get to my picks of fade or follow like Madden in just a second, but Anton is here. So let's bring him in to the show. We're going to talk some Thursday night football, how the model did last night, as well as look ahead to Sunday.
Yeah,
Anton,
sorry about
back.
that. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but we're back. That's good. Yeah, so I was suffering through the Philly game last night against the Giants, and right around just before halftime, started smelling a stench, which turned out to be a backed up sewer drain. Uh, but I was wondering if that stench was coming
Really?
from New York, from the game, from
Oh,
the Eagles. Am I doing what you're doing? Am I calling them the Phillies? It was a horrible day for Philadelphia,
yeah.
and the model felt it was really strongly in the Eagles' court. It actually had one of the stronger predictions, Eagles up by 11. So it was a tremendous swing. I suspect that we just couldn't keep up, for one thing, with the injuries that the Eagles have been experiencing. But in addition, there were intangibles like their clock management, their play selection, the way they were using Barkley, like running him when they were deep in their own territory, and they were running him right up the middle, trying to run him up the middle, but into a wall. It just didn't make sense. So these things happen, but overall, we did really well last week. We were 2-0 on the spreads, and a lot of people were very happy with that. And that's the ironic thing. We had Denver to cover plus 4.5 at Philadelphia. And there weren't as many people that believed in that. But so, we got by that. But I think a lot of people thought that Philadelphia would have sort of a redemption game against the Giants last night. And I think that there's a whole different story evolving in Philadelphia that we'll have to follow. Last 30 days, Advanced Sports AI with our AI-driven models, we have been atop the leaderboard with Picks and Parlays at 17-8. Of course, with last night, we're down just a little bit, but we're still up there. And I think we're still the ones to watch.
You definitely are. You guys have been crushing
and we
it
also
over
had
there.
last Saturday. Thank you. Last Sunday, we also had Detroit to cover against Cincinnati, and that was pretty good. And actually, I thought Detroit would be even more dominant, but hey, we'll take it.
Okay, so let's look at this Sunday slate ahead of us.
Yeah.
We're getting a little bit of a lag.
Yeah, let's look at this.
I'll let you take it away.
Okay. Let's look at week 6. We're looking at a few games. We're looking at sides on we haven't finalized things. We'll probably post our final high confidence recommendations later today. We're looking at the 49ers, Tampa Bay. We're looking at Detroit, Kansas City. I heard Dan talking about that. The models largely agree. And looking at Buffalo, Atlanta. So I think that the model is looking for quality teams and consistency. And I think San Francisco is an interesting matchup. And the model right now is favoring the underdog, San Francisco. We'll gladly take the points in the Detroit Kansas City game with Detroit, as we heard earlier, and then the model I think is really appreciating the consistency of Buffalo right now, and right now the model favors Buffalo in that game as well. But we're going to continue to crunch numbers and see what happens over the next few hours.
Okay, so those bets are going to be up in the next couple of hours here. For anyone looking for your packages, you are part of that Weekend Warrior package, which will get you guys your picks in football for Saturday and Sunday for just $49. As an added bonus, they will include those Monday picks as well. There is a grab $7 best bet from your participating handicappers over on picksandparlays.net for today. So something you want to start looking at as well if you're looking for Friday picks. So Anton, will you have some Friday picks? Are you participating in the $7 best bet? Okay, guys, I think we have...
Yeah, we're not certain about the Friday deal. Whoops.
It's okay. We're just getting a little bit of a lag here with Anton and I'm going to bring him back in just 1 second here. So you guys just bear with us while we deal with a couple of technical difficulties here on a Friday. It seems to be a Friday when we get those technical difficulties. It's meant to be the easiest day of the week. Thankfully, we don't get them on a Monday when I need an extra cup of coffee rolling in from that Sunday night football action. But we're going to bring Anton in just 1 second, see what else he's liking out there and hear about his packages that you can get over on picksandparlays.net. So let's bring him in and see what else he has for us today. Anton, so what else have you got for us on the slate?
Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
I am. I can hear you perfectly.
I'm trying to see if there's a technical issue on my side. Yeah. So just wanted to add one more thing. We are looking at the Chicago-Washington game on Monday for the point total. And right now we're leaning over, but again, more number crunching to be had, and we'll weigh in on that this afternoon.
Okay. Well, that is fantastic. So you guys make sure you head on over to picksandparlays.net to get all of Anton's picks, advanced sports AI over there. Anton, thank you so much for joining us here on a Friday. Hope to see you back next week.
Thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but hopefully we can bring in some winners and encourage everyone to go over Advanced Sports AI. We're the ones there. So come and get it. Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Absolutely, you guys. Head on over to picksandparlays.net to grab Anton's packages over there. Advanced Sports AI. They're absolutely crushing it. This model pointing everyone in the direction that they want to be for these bets in football as well as in the other sports. So head on over to grab those. Let's jump into the fade or a follow like Madden. I hope you guys have been following some of these bets out there. There's a couple things I want to talk about today. First, we're going to get into this MLB game. Now, I'm going to look at current odds. I want to make sure we have seen no movement out there. We're seeing the Detroit Tigers. The juice is starting to tick up on the Detroit Tigers, minus 126 to minus 128. Open your odds logic page to shop these lines. Make sure you always get the best of the lines. We're seeing a total of 5.5 still with the juice to the over 5.5. I do think the extra innings is in play. I played it. If you were here yesterday with us with Dre Rich, we were talking this game and I said, Dre, what about extra innings? Because of how he described this game, I jumped on the extra innings. It cashed. And I kept my fingers crossed in that 9th inning because I was so nervous that we weren't going to be able to get there, but we did. Extra innings in this one, the books are limiting their risk. It's plus 580, but I'm going to jump on the extra innings. Looking at this matchup here, we got George Kirby for the Seattle Mariners and Tyreek Skubal for the Detroit Tigers. Now, Skubal has been great. He has had a couple issues versus the Seattle Mariners, so something you want to look at. I do think there's a couple interesting, more the prop bet side of things over on FanDuel that I jumped in on. George Kirby and Tyreek Skubal to combine for 4+ strikeouts in the first inning. We need both of these guys, or one to get 3, the other one to get 1, or both of these guys to get 2 strikeouts. A combination of strikeouts for 4+ for them combined on FanDuel is plus 250. You know I'm in on that. You look at this game, you look at the under in the first 5, you look at the Nerfy price. It is so highly juiced. Both of these pitchers should come out nice and strong, and I'm expecting it straight out of the gate here. So I will take in this matchup when we're looking at the Detroit Tigers versus the Seattle Mariners, Kirby and Skubal in the first inning to combine for 4+ strikeouts. And I apologize for not having the graphics up here for these bets. I'm also going to look at Skubal over 19.5 outs. I think he goes nice and deep into this game. It's kind of juicy at minus 122. but I would parlay it with George Kirby over 14.5 outs at -148. When you parlay those two together, let me just grab you those odds again. I can't remember what it was when I put it in. That is his strikeouts. His strikeout number is 9.5 for a screwball as well. So something to look at. But when we parlay over 19.5 outs, they won't let us do it here on FanDuel. They will let you on some other books. So if you can get it on your books, something to definitely look at for sure. You'd rather have technical difficulties? Something wrong started crazy rumors like last Friday. Oh, crazy rumors that I was engaged. That would be insane. I couldn't imagine being engaged right now. So that's where we're gonna go. I'm gonna look. Well, that's where I'm going. Kirby and Screwball 4+ strikeouts in the first inning combined at +250. I'm gonna look at Screwball over 19.5 outs. Kirby over 14.5 outs. Lay the juice. Now, I do think there's another two players that I want to circle for a hit tonight. Not taking anyone for a run. I'll take them for a hit. Riley Green and Julio Rodriguez for the hit tonight. I do think both of these players should be able to get on the board. So when we're looking at both of these players, okay, to record that hit, Riley Green coming in here for the Detroit Tigers. I think he has the best ability to hit either George Kirby or the bullpen, and then Julio Rodriguez coming in for the Seattle Mariners. Now, separately, they are way too highly juiced when we parlay Riley Green and Julio Rodriguez, because they're at -160 and -170 on that juice there for the hit. When we parlay them together, they're coming in at +141. And that's where I want to go. Get a little bit of plus money there, you guys, parlaying them together. Now, I know a lot of people looking at Cal Raleigh. He's one of the best hitters in the game. There's no denying what he's able to do. 60 home runs, 125 RBIs. He's hitting the best of his career this season, but I just can't go there. He's way too overpriced in my opinion. And I know just recording that hit, he is at -140. So a shorter price there than Julio Rodriguez, but I do think Julio Rodriguez has that better chance. If you want to do Riley Green, Cal Raleigh, and leave out Julio Rodriguez, that comes in at +162. So depending on who you have more faith in out here for the Seattle Mariners, I have more faith in Julio Rodriguez because I think too many people are hyping Cal Raleigh in this matchup, and I just can't go with the norm. So let's move in to college football for today. Looking at the college football slate, you guys, we do have 3 games on deck. 3 games on deck. We have South Florida versus North Texas. We have Fresno State versus Colorado State, and Rutgers versus Wisconsin. Now, we'll start here with South Florida versus North Texas. So South Florida rolling in as a dog at +110. We got a line here for North Texas at -130 on the money line. The spread is 1.5, but I started to tick up, you guys. It was -124. At -1.5 is -118 here for North Texas. The money is coming in. Now, this one has a high total, highest total of the Friday slate of 66.5. When I look at this one, it's going to be an interesting matchup here as these two top teams in the American Conference clash off. South Florida is 4-1 on the season. They've won their last 2 games in a row, and they're 1-1 out there on the road. North Texas yet to be defeated. They're 5-0 on the season. South Florida, I do like their quarterback, Brown. He's got a 61.3% completion rate, you guys, for 1,194 yards, 10 touchdowns, but he has thrown 4 interceptions. My problem with Brown is sometimes he holds onto that ball too long, and the defense of the opposing team is able to get that sack. Now, when we look at North Texas here, they were -124 in the money line. Like I said, ticking up to that -130 mark. We have Drew Macemarker. I always pronounce his name wrong. He's got a 67.9% completion rate. He's been able to throw for 1,247 yards so far this season. He's got 11 touchdowns. And when I look at his touchdown to interception ratio, you guys, it's 11-0. They have a strong 1-2 punch with the running back room as well, with McGill and Hawkins coming in nice and strong. This is a defense that plays really fast tempo. They're able to bring that pressure. So that scares me. For the quarterback here for South Florida, Brown, I do think the books have the right side with North Texas here at home. It seems pretty square, and you guys know that I don't like just being on the favorite, but I do think we could see North Texas pull it off here at home. I just don't want to lay the minus 130 mark. So if I'm going into this game, this would be a live bet if South Florida goes up first, and Cody's rolling with South Florida straight up on the money line for that plus money. I do think their quarterback, Brown, is effective. He needs to get rid of that ball a lot quicker, especially against North Texas's defense. If Brown can get rid of that ball nice and quick, out to his weapons out there and not hold the ball in the pocket too long, they should be able to pull this one off. If they don't, we will see North Texas take this at home. So I do think this is a live betting situation with the spread so close at 1.5. I will be coming back in on a team when they go down. So I do think North Texas plus the points if they go down to start this one. Where the money line and the spread money line, but still a favorite. Not sure what you're meaning there, Lex. We are seeing a spread of 1.5 in this game. We're seeing that 1.5 for North Texas at minus 118 and minus 130 on that money line, plus 1.5 for South Florida, minus 104 and plus 110. So that is that game. We're going to move on to the next game. The next game on the docket in college football is Fresno State versus Colorado State. Now, this one has the lowest total of a Friday night. It's got 47.5. Minus 105 to the over, minus 115 to the under. We are seeing Colorado State a home dog, and you guys know I freaking love a home dog. They're coming in at plus 6.5 at minus 110, plus 190 on that money line. And Fresno, minus 6.5 and minus 230 on that money line. This is going to be an interesting one. And I do think Colorado State, with how strong their run defense is, has every ability to keep this one tight. I'm grabbing Colorado State as a home dog plus the 6.5. I know they've looked bad as of late. So this is kind of like hold your nose. Maybe don't watch it. And just step away and look at the score at the end of the game, because this one is going to give you heart palpitations if you're watching this with how bad Colorado State has looked as of late. Fresno State has injuries on the offensive line. Their tight end is not 100% as well. So I do think they're going to struggle a little bit in this game. And Colorado State, as long as they slow down the pace, stop the run game here, for Fresno State, like they should be able to do. This is a top 10 run defense. We're going to see them keep it within this number. Now, looking at that total or looking at that money line, is it worth Colorado State at plus 190? I'm not sure if I would take them for the upset win, but if I'm taking them plus the 6.5, sometimes I got to sprinkle. At this price, no. If we see Fresno State get that first touchdown on the board and we're getting Colorado State close to the plus 300 mark, at that point I will sprinkle, as I do think this is a game that finishes within that field goal kind of mark. So give me in this Colorado State as the home dog. Now we're looking at Rutgers versus Washington. The lines are moving on this. Rutgers was a 10.5 point dog on the road versus Washington. As we started the show 48 minutes ago, we are seeing that line move to 11.5 as money keeps coming in here on Washington. Washington laying the 11.5. They're minus 450 on the money line, and Rutgers plus 350 to pull off the upset. 60.5 is your total. I do think this is one where Rutgers off a bye, you got to look at those trends, you guys. Rutgers off a bye are 8-0-1 against the spread coming off the bye in their last 9 times in this situation. 8-0-1 against that spread. Now we're getting them plus 11.5. I tell you, it looks like a great way to go. Under their head coach, Rutgers is 36-22 and 3 against the spread as a road dog. You guys, this at 11.5, I have to take Rutgers here versus Washington. I do think Washington, you look at their travel concerns coming back home here, and I think Rutgers has every ability. Now, you can look at Rutgers in the first half, and I do think that's probably the smarter way to go. There is some questions about weather in this game, and I look at the first half here, and I'm going to get that first half spread. I haven't run to the window on this because I did think lines would move. I think the public will continue to come in on Washington over the day. We're seeing first half Rutgers plus 7.5. You guys, that feels like an absolute gift from the books. Rutgers plus 7.5 in the first half. They juiced it though at minus 128. I do think that first half total is interesting as well. 31.5, but you're going to have to lay too much juice to the under at minus 138. So it's going to be interesting. Okay, so you're talking most of the tickets on the money line and the spread going. It is 70% money line for South Florida and 76% of the spread South Florida, but still not the favorite. Public is on South Florida. Big money is on North Texas. Let's go, Mean Green. Let's get it done, Lex. Love that you're coming with those numbers here for us on a Friday morning. You guys, it is October 10th. It is Friday. It is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. So happy Thanksgiving to any of the Canadians out there watching. American Thanksgiving, I celebrate as well. You know, that turkey day on a Thursday, nothing better. And you're thinking Rutgers will get taken behind the woodshed. I could see that in the second half. I think Rutgers in the first half holds tight. The second half is where I think we see Washington break away. So look for Washington breakaway in the second half if Rutgers keeps it tight in the first. Getting Washington under a touchdown favorite, I think, will be an opportunity for us to grab. I love that live betting market out there, especially in football, and I do think it's something you guys need to stay tuned for. So, you guys, we are live here on All Joe Madden Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate you guys who tune in every day. Cody, Lex, I see you here every single morning, and I appreciate your guys' support for this show. If you guys can hit that like button over here on YouTube, if you can share it with a friend, so let's spread the word. We had a couple technical difficulties today, but we'll have that all fixed up for Monday. A little bit of a lag in the stream. Not sure why that was happening. It shouldn't happen, you guys. I think it's just a Friday issue. Friday maybe needs a drink. Maybe that is what is happening. But you guys, all the best in all of these bets. Just to recap where I'm going with my football best bets. I'll take Rutgers plus 7.5 in the first half. I'm going big on North Texas. I do think they get it done. I think their defense is going to be too fast for Brown, and they're going to get those sacks on him. I do also think that you want to look here at the other game, Colorado State. You want to look at the home dog in Colorado State plus the 6.5. I'm going to go with Riley Green and Julio Rodriguez to get a hit out there on the diamonds, parlayed together at plus 145. I'm going to look at George Kirby and Tyreek Screwball to combine for 4+ strikeouts in the first inning at plus 250. Screwball over 19.5 outs at minus 122. George Kirby over 14.5 outs at minus 148. Maybe look for a parlay partner for both of those because they're so juicy. But I think the Tigers get it done today, and I do think this one goes to extra innings. Plus 580 to go to extra innings, you guys. All the best in all of your bets. Last call. There's no last call today. Ariel and Kelly will take you for last call over on Wager Talk. Kelly will be in tomorrow. We will see Ariel in on Sunday, so make sure you check out the girls there. I will be on last call, your primetime preview on Monday and Thursdays coming up this week. So you guys, thank you for the happy Thanksgiving. I wish you all the best in all of your bets. Always join me here for All Joe Madden on Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And if you guys want to see this show 5 days a week, I need you to do me that solid. Share this show, get the word out that we're talking these daily bets on the week daily. If that makes sense, you guys. All the best in all your bets. Let's make some freaking money out there today. Bye, guys.